Hello and welcome to the Confident Coach Mini Summit Magnetic Client Attraction Edition, where this time we are focusing all on how to attract the right clients to your coaching business who are ready, willing, and able to pay for your coaching service. My name is Amanda Keeler, and I am super excited to introduce our first guest, Cornelia Ward. Cornelia works with entrepreneurs who love to teach, and she helps them bring in a flood of new clients through the power of Meetup. Now, Cornelia and I sat down and she shared how Meetup basically provides you an instant list, builds your credibility, and instantly connects you with a flood of potential new clients. In this interview, we dive deep into why going to other meetups won't get you the clients that you want and what you can do instead, how you can leverage the power of Meetup to build your client list fast, and the exact strategy Cornelia used to generate $9,000 in a week. So let's dive right in with Cornelia Ward. Welcome, Cornelia. Thanks so much for joining us.
Really fun to be here, Amanda. Hello, everybody.
Why don't you just tell our audience just a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, and who you serve in your business?
Yeah, so I am a divine career and business coach, and what I do is I help people transition either into career or business that really lights them up so they're excited to get back to work on Monday. My tagline is I help people love Mondays, and in particular, and I think we're going to talk about this today, is I love to help entrepreneurs who love to teach to bring in a steady flow of clients with Meetup.
That sounds awesome. So can you just tell us a little bit about why Meetup is such a powerful way for people to get clients?
Yeah, so if you picture like your best friend has this massive mailing list, and they're going to send an email just about you and your new Meetup group on, let's say, how to help people find their life purpose. Let's say that's what you do. And Meetup, what they do is they will send a mass email just about your new group so that people will hear about your workshops and attend your workshops about life purpose. So it's very unusual in that you could have no mailing list. You could be a beginning entrepreneur. You could have some mailing list. It doesn't really matter what stage of the game you're in. Mm-hmm. But Meetup will mail this huge database, everybody in your area who's interested in the general themes that your group lines up with in their database. They'll send this massive email out just about your new group.
Awesome. And so if people are in kind of a rural area, like let's say that there's a big city nearby them, like maybe an hour away, can they still use Meetup for online? Because I know that's a big objection.
Yeah, no, for sure. So for every in-person Meetup, you can have an online one. So that's one thing. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, I have clients who use Meetup and then they just, they do a Meetup once or twice a month and they drive the hour, to go to whatever that locality is. But what I tell people is, so I actually live in Vermont here in the US, mm-hmm. and Vermont, there's this funny saying that there are more cows than people that live in Vermont.
Yes.
And I actually have gotten great results from Meetup, and basically gotten a flood of clients even with that low demographic. So I feel like if it can work here in Vermont, it really can work anywhere. And Meetups are available all over the world. It doesn't matter where you live.
Awesome. I love that you're just that perfect example. So how is using your own Meetup different than going to, say, a Meetup for networking, mm-hmm. In your business? What's the advantage there? Because it can, there is a startup cost.
Yeah, it's the startup cost is only $10 to $15 a month. Mm-hmm. And like my first Meetup, the one I just alluded to, the one I had here in Vermont, I made $9,000 from that 1 2-hour meetup. So I was happy to pay $10 to $15.
Sure.
And I'm trying to remember, what was your original question though? I totally spaced out on
No,
that.
it's all good. It's all good. How is using your own meetup different from going to someone else's meetup?
Yeah. So a lot of entrepreneurs I know, they come to me and they say, you got these great results from Meetup. How did you do that? Because I have been to tons of meetups, networking events, that let's say there's a meetup for entrepreneurs, small business entrepreneurs who are, let's say, health coaches who want to connect with each other, right? To do some networking. That type of meetup has a very different purpose than the meetups that I teach about. So the first one, the one where people go and they do networking, that's the purpose, is to connect, get referrals, get to know people better. That can be a great way to do marketing. It's a much more direct and longer term in terms of the effects that you get than to actually create a meetup where you're the organizer, you're the host of the talk, and it's like you have your own stage, okay? And people come to your meetup and you give them 5 steps to find your life purpose, right? And then at the end, you invite them to connect with you one-to-one for a strategy call, for example. And from those calls, you can enroll lots of clients. That's how I made $9,000 from my first 2-hour workshop. So it's a different intent. One is from networking. A lot of people go to meetups and they think they don't work because the intent of that meetup is around networking. And the other option, of course, is to implement my strategy, which is the freebie I'm going to be sharing with people that I'm sure we'll talk about later. But my meetup strategy is around having the intent be for you to get clients while still being of service to people in your business.
That's so awesome. I feel like I love that you said while still being a service to people. So it always starts with serving people first. And then really just inviting them to take the next step so that you can serve them more.
Exactly. And the strategy I teach is, there's no charge for these meetups. So people come, they can get lots of great information. So you can think of it as like, your favorite author, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, they're coming to town and they're doing a free book reading. And you can walk away because they'll do a reading, like they'll share their content, right?
Like
read a segment of a chapter or part of a chapter of their book, or it's something having to do with their book. And so you walk away from that author reading with lots of either inspiration or great ideas about something you want to take the next step on. And you don't have to go buy the book, right, in order to get those results. So people at these meetup talks that I teach, they will walk away with great information having to do with the problems that are keeping them up at night.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. So as a long-term strategy, it's really effective as well, because once people join their meetup, they're on your meetup mailing list, correct?
Yeah, they're in. So the first level is, that massive email I talked about. So the massive email goes out from Meetup and that advertises your Meetup group. People go join your group. Oh yeah, I want to know about life purpose, or I want to know about chronic pain. They go join that Meetup group. And then they go to your meetups, your talks, which are publicized on the Meetup site for people who belong to that Meetup group. And so those are the different levels, and then people can come to repeated meetups if they want to. And at each meetup, you can, and I highly recommend, you collect email addresses for people who attend so you can stay in touch with them in other ways. And so you can build your mailing list or start your mailing list if that's where you are through Meetup as well.
Wow, that is so awesome. I love this. This is really exciting. So you already alluded to this a little bit, but I want you to talk a little bit more about the results you or your clients have achieved in your business on Meetup.
Yeah, so that first talk I did was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And again, here I am in Vermont, more cows apparently than people, although I've never counted, but still, like it's considered pretty rural.
Mm-hmm.
And my first talk was like a 2.5 hour free workshop called How to Find Your Life Purpose So You Can Create a Career You Love. And 15 people showed up, which I was pretty happy with, but I thought that was pretty good considering our demographics.
Yeah.
15 people showed up, 5 of them were already clients. And out of the 10 people left, I can't remember whether it was 8 or 9, but 8 or 9 became clients within 30 days, most of them actually the next week. And I made like $9,000 from that 1 2-hour workshop. So these are the results you can get. And there's there's a little bit of strategy behind that. It's not difficult, but just like anything else that works, like if you're learning to ski, right, there's certain ways, little tweaks you do to learn to be a great skier. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with this strategy. There's some little tweaks that you might not see in the background that the organizer, using my strategy anyway, uses to get those great results. And people can learn more about that in the freebie as well.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about those freebies. So can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the freebie is actually a mini course. Mm-hmm. It's called the Magical Meetup Strategy, and I call it magical because of those results I just talked about, right?
It's kind of magical.
Yeah, I mean, I was I was very funny, Amanda. So I had my meetup talk, I don't know, maybe it was a Thursday night, and then Monday, it turned out the following Monday, people all from the meetup who wanted to have a strategy session, they all scheduled the following Monday. And,
oh my goodness.
and by the end of the day on Monday, I had $9,000 in hand. And so that's why I call it magical. So anyway, so it's called the Magical Meetup Strategy. It's not just a PDF or an audio. It's actually what I call a mini course. It basically gives people, and again, these are entrepreneurs who love to teach, who want to get in a steady flow of clients, if not a flood like I did. It gives them the strategy. There's a PDF that has the strategy of how I created those results. There's also an audio with a strategy depending on how people want to take in the information. And then the other thing I really want to emphasize here is not just a strategy, but there are 2 other pieces to this mini course that are really valuable. The first one is a talk script. And so, we all have been to events where we've seen speakers, on the stage, professional speakers speak. This talk script is the same talk, the same structure or outline that those professional speakers that we know so well, that are best-selling authors, etc., and very successful. This is the same talk script they use. And I basically this is what I used in my meetups as well. And basically, it's a Word document, so people can edit it themselves. Mm-hmm. And I give people in red the pieces where they can plug in their own story, their own content. And then it shows at the end, okay, so what words do you use to make that offer at the end for the strategy session? So that's included in the mini course. And then the fourth thing is a stay connected form that you can hand out at the end of your meetups to find out if people are interested in a strategy session, to have them sign up on your email list. Lots of different options there. And so it's like a $500, mini course that is a great way to get started. And then I do offer an online challenge on getting clients from meetups several times a year. And so there'll be more information about that when people enter their email address and their name for the mini course.
Beautiful. I was just going to ask you about that challenge because I know that is a really good way to just get started. And you walk people through the process, and it's kind of a fun thing because people get to do it in a group.
Yeah. People, it's really fun because people, they're a little afraid. They're like, okay, I'm about to hit enter and submit my group to Meetup, to have it reviewed. And they go, okay, I just did it. My fingers are crossed. And then the next morning, because I'm giving you a daily instruction, like what 1 or 2 small steps to take each day of the 5-day challenge, which by the way is free. And they'll be at their keyboard and they'll be ready to submit their new meetup group on, how to, live a more natural lifestyle and get over your chronic pain, for example, or a career transition or whatever. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, like I'm really nervous to hit enter. And then they'll just hit enter. They'll submit their group for Meetup to just do its short review. And then they'll report that in the group, like, I was so nervous, but I went ahead and did it because, I know we're doing this together, and Connie, you've been encouraging us and the great results. And then the next morning, they'll wake up and they'll report in the Facebook group where we're like all reporting our wins in the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
They'll report in the Facebook group that, I got like 20 to 30 new people in my Meetup group like overnight, and I didn't really do anything. So it's pretty fun.
And what a fun way to get leads in your business. I mean, and just like seeing those instantaneous results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is. And it's I've had people in challenge who have struggled for like years getting a regular flow of clients coming in. And, it's really, as an entrepreneur, there are so many things that we do and things that we try. And isn't it nice every once in a while to do something where you can get almost instant gratification with lots of people in your meetup group? I mean, it just feels so good, right?
Yeah. And especially if you love to teach. I mean, that is the extra bonus, because then you're getting people into your meetup and you're getting to do what you love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I'll mention too, Amanda, is because some people are probably wondering, so what if I'm an introvert, right? I don't like to talk in front of a bunch of people. Yeah. So when you set up your meetup workshop, you actually, in the meetup platform, the software is just really easy to use and very straightforward. And there's just a little box that you check that says, I only want to have 5 or fewer people in the group. So you can limit the number of people. And I'm a total introvert, and I would actually, because this was comfortable for me, is I would actually have my meetups in my living room. And so it was really comfortable for me as an introvert, and I could hang out with my dog, and everything was really comfortable for me. And then I would limit the number of people so that it could be, and it's more intimate. People can walk away a little bit more, we've all been to those workshops, right? Where, people all come in and we're all kind of have similar challenges. And then, people walk away, we walk away with a transformation and connecting with other people, even though we've only been there for a couple of hours. So it's a really, really beautiful environment, a beautiful way to be of service and provide people with that transformation, whether they become clients or not.
Yes. And I love that, because maybe they won't become clients like that day. I mean, talk about loving your Monday, but maybe they'll become a client a year down the road. And so you never know.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody has a different decision-making process, but we all know this, right? As entrepreneurs, that one of the main ways to connect with your people and enroll new clients is to have them have an experience of you, right? So when you're speaking in person, or you're on a Facebook Live, or you do a virtual meetup, right? These are all ways for people to get to know you. And that's, I think, part of the reason why this meetup strategy that I teach is so successful, is because you've been the conduit, if you will, for a transformation for people on an issue that's keeping them up at night, that they care deeply about, that they don't know how to resolve. And so you've already created that connection, that relationship with people. And it's just so natural for people to schedule a one-to-one strategy session with you. And then it's very natural to say, well, listen, I can help you make this transition, or, overcome this relationship issue, or whatever it is, and enroll them into a program that you've got going on for 6 or 12 months. And that's where, people can make that investment in the solution they're looking for. And, you can continue to do the work you're meant to do because you're really thriving financially and otherwise.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, again, that link below is for Cornelia's gift. So please just go ahead and grab that. That is it's an incredible value. I checked it out yesterday. I'm really excited about it. And so yeah, just please go grab that gift. It's an incredible value. Any closing thoughts for us as we wrap up?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that, it is so important for all of us to get out there, I think, and do the work we're meant to do in the world. The world really, there are people out there, animals, causes, whatever your particular focus is in your business, who really need your support right now. In fact, I just talked to someone yesterday who's a parenting coach, and she helps parents of kids who, either they're just high energy, or they have, attention deficit disorder, or maybe they're, have Asperger's, or, just parents generally, right, who need support. And, she'll see things going on in her community that when it comes to children, that she knows could have been prevented by the work she is meant to do in the world. So she's really, even though she, has her inner doubts like all of us do, she's really committed to getting out there and helping parents so that those incidents, those situations don't happen for kids, in her community and elsewhere. So it's just an example of how important it is for us to do the work we're meant to do, and do take those small steps and take action. And find a mentor, whether you hire somebody or somebody that who's a coach, who can support you through that process when you run into roadblocks or fears.
Yes, I love that. I love just that example of somebody who just sees that issue, because it happens to all of us. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and good luck to everybody.
Yes, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us, Cornelia.
Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, and good luck to everybody. It was great to talk to you today.
Okay, thank you.